Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and Steve Shanley is back, director of the Cedar Rapids Municipal Band, for a preview of this week's concert. We could probably more or less rerun last year's.
Not quite, but yes, a lot of the hits for the Patriotic Festival.
Because it's Patriotic Week.
It is.
So that directs, in some ways, I'm guessing, one of your easiest to program, but also one of your most challenging to keep fresh.
Yeah, because we have the Cedar Rapids Concert Chorale, who's been joining us the last few years, which has been great. So they'll join us on America the Beautiful and Battle Hymn of the Republic. And we'll play, of course, the Stars and Stripes Forever. And we do have a new Armed Forces medley this year.
What is that?
Is
that legal?
We are including
to have a new one?
It is, I believe it or not, but we have had requests to incorporate the Space Force. So even though I doubt we will have anyone in the audience standing because they were members of the Space Force, I think the idea is we are paying respect to all of the branches of the military. They are a branch of the military. And so my friend and former professor at the University of Northern Iowa, John Schwabe, and I were talking, and he said, hey, one of my old teachers said he just wrote a new medley of all of the service songs and included the Space Force. So got that from him. So that will be a different order and different take on things. So that will be kind of fun to spice things up as well.
So what does the Space Force anthem sound like? Why do I feel like it should be more John Williams?
Yeah, it's sort of like OK John Williams or OK Star Trek. It is. It kind of sounds like you would expect it to sound. So, yeah, I just want to make everybody happy in my job with the municipal band, including the people who want to hear the Space Force. So this one also doesn't. It just only uses the themes from the branches, whereas the medley we've been using for years and some of the more popular ones also sort of sprinkle in little bits of Americana throughout.
Oh, sure.
And so we're not doing any of that, especially because some of the themes associated with the medley are now a little bit problematic as well. So,
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So that's cool. And we also thought we'd get the concert chorale a little bit more involved this year. I think the thing everyone is probably going to be the most excited about is we're going to perform Sweet Caroline, so the audience will get to sing along on that along with the concert chorale. But the thing I am most excited about this week for sure is a brand new piece to us, but not a brand new piece to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. About 100 years ago, just over 100 years ago, a couple of Cedar Rapids natives wrote a song as part of a contest to help drum up support for World War I. And it was called Back Your Boy, and they wrote it for voice and piano. And my colleague at College, Bethany Keenan in the history department, discovered this in the Library of Congress while she was doing some work. One of her areas of specialty is the humanitarian aid that we were providing to France during World War I. So she was doing some World War I research and looking and discovered this piece by these Cedar Rapids natives. And she sent it to me and said, have you heard this? And I said, I didn't. And I kind of played through it at the piano. And I said, this could be kind of a nice little march. So I wrote it out for band and choir, and Jerry Kreitzer, the director of the concert chorale, agreed that we should premiere it this year at the Patriotic concert. It's called Back Your Boy, and that's the one I'm most excited about this week.
And pretty much a world premiere.
It is, yeah,
of your arrangement.
Of our arrangement, yep.
Do we know what the provenance of the song was back in the day? It
was, Bethany said that it was for sale in the music stores around Iowa for sure, and they entered a national contest but did not win that. So I'm not sure if it ever spread much beyond Iowa, and of course I'm sure after 1920, 1921 was probably forgotten completely.
The Depression, probably.
Yeah.
Probably took care of that. Well, American Gothic took third place in the contest that Grant Wood entered it in.
That's a good point. And so maybe the resurrection of Back Your Boy will help everyone discover this great piece.
So Back Your Boy, Sweet Caroline, and the theme from the Space Force.
Yeah, what more could you want, really, right?
This is a patriotic week to end all patriotic weeks.
It is.
Where is the band?
We'll be at Guthridge Park for the Wednesday concert at 7:30 in Hiawatha, and on Sunday we'll be at McGrath Amphitheatre at 7:30 as well.
Well, this is also a big week for us here at KCCK as we are headed into Jazz Festival in Iowa City, and you're directing the North Corridor Band again this year, which is the high school students from points north in the corridor. How is that going?
That's going great, and it's kind of fun this year because when the pandemic hit, we had to go to small group combo performances of the Iowa City area honor group and then the kind of Cedar Falls, Cedar Rapids honor group. And so it's been small groups since then. And then with the big band on Friday night on the stage, the main stage of the Jazz Festival, that allows us to try a big band again this year. So the Iowa City directors and I were excited to do that again because I think the students and the parents kind of miss that. And small group playing
nice to involve more students.
Yeah, involving more students, and there's a lot of great things about small group playing, the creativity especially, but there is just something about a big band that is pretty fun to listen to and pretty fun for the students to play in.
And speaking of the big band, Ryan Midda, of course, is it's his music with Joel Fromm as a special guest on Friday night. Ryan was your student at Cedar Rapids, Washington.
Yeah, and he was actually my wife's student before that. So
wow.
he had Val at Franklin, and then I got to work with him at Washington High School before he went off into the world to do great things. So it's been really fun to see the success he's been having, and it'll be cool to welcome him back here to Eastern Iowa with his big band.
Yeah, he's the jazz director at Vanderbilt University now, directed the Iowa All-State jazz band a couple years ago. And so when he was a high school student, did he look like he was going to be on that composing, arranging track?
He was very into improvising at the time and loved playing the bari sax and would always volunteer to take solos and was fearless with the soloing. He didn't do a lot of composing or arranging, at least when he was in high school. Yeah, I think that developed later. But, pretty natural for most jazz musicians to do some of that because improvising obviously is that spontaneous composition. So, yeah, it's been cool to see him develop.
And then you're playing with Ed East, right, on one of the side stages?
Yeah, looking forward to that. Ed,
and that's a new ensemble of his.
It is, and it's Ed. I'm playing piano. Jim Dreyer's playing drum set, and Danny O'Lean's playing bass. And Ed is going to play some trumpet and some flute and guitar and percussion and sing. And he's been writing some real cool tunes, some based on Morse code, he told me. I haven't been able, my Morse is a little rusty, so I couldn't quite tell you exactly what the tie-in is. But then he also did some mashups of jazz standards into not really medleys necessarily, but where he'd use one phrase from Pent Up House and then go directly into a phrase from Stella by Starlight. And so that's going to be really cool as well. And Ed, always very creative and a great performer, and I never miss an opportunity to play with him.
Yeah, big weekend for us in Iowa City this weekend, but you're doing double duty as, of course, also 2 Muni Band concerts to squeeze in there as well. Wednesday at Guthridge Park in Hiawatha, and then Sunday at McGrath, yeah?
Sunday at McGrath, and then, around 12:15 on the main stage of the Jazz Fest with the North Corridor All-Stars on Saturday.
All right. And again, crmuniband.org if you'd like any more information on any of this. And if you can't make it, of course, watch the live stream.
Watch the live stream on Facebook, yeah.
All right. We'll talk again next week. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Dennis.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.